Elon Musk has a surprise waiting. Open this message now. You think you've seen every kind of online message, every so-called alert, every notification vying for your attention, but not like this. Not with a pulse racing through your veins as you read, not with your mind searching for what's coming next, not with the electricity of possibility humming just beneath your skin. That feeling, right now, it's not hype, it's not a marketing play. It's real. Elon Musk has a surprise lined up. And out of billions of people, you're the one standing at this crossroads. Maybe you just stumbled across this by accident. Or maybe, just maybe, you landed here because the universe hands out invitations only to the ones willing to notice. You paused, you noticed. That's all it takes for destiny to start rolling. Listen closely. This isn't one of those generic motivational routines. Not a rise and grind echo chamber. This is a portal, a real signal, not a simulation. The next few minutes? They're not time killed in an endless feed. They're time invested in you. And the surprise isn't some clickbait reveal, not a dollar sign, not a viral meme. What's hidden here has more value than headlines, more weight than approval, more power than the algorithms that keep the world scrolling. The truth? Most people will never realize what's possible when they pay attention. They'll scroll. They'll doubt. They'll move on, numb from notifications that never truly matter, but that isn't you, not right now. You're here, and that means you're different. Are you ready for what comes next? Or will you become just another person who almost caught their moment, and let it slip away? Because that's the twist in every breakthrough story. Opportunity doesn't yell, it whispers. Calls attention to itself in the subtlest ways. And by the time most people realize how close they came to something life-changing, well, their chance is already gone. So slow down with me now, take a breath, feel your heart settle into this moment, because this message you're holding? It's not recycled, it's not a repeat. It's uniquely tailored to the one person who stayed curious, and right now, that's you. Here's the wildest part. This surprise from Elon Musk isn't about him. Nor is it about rockets blazing through the blackness, or electric cars gliding past gas stations, or tweets that split the internet in half. It's about something bigger. It's about the version of yourself that's hiding under all the predictable routines. It's about the spark waiting to be lit. Can you feel that electric hum yet? Good. Don't fight it. That's momentum. That's transformation beginning on the inside. That's what happens when you choose to stay present, while everyone else is lost in the noise. Let me tell you a secret. Every breakthrough in human history, every jump forward, every innovation, every world-bending invention, started at a crossroads much like the one you're at right now. The common factor? One person decided to stop waiting and start paying attention. Elon Musk wasn't born different. He just refused to numb himself with excuses. He pressed open. Kept pressing. And when everyone else hit pause, he hit play. That's the difference between ordinary and unexpected. That's why you're still here. You, waiting, watching, searching for what's hiding just under the surface. So what does it mean? Why you? Simple. In a universe running on randomness, your presence here is proof that curiosity is a magnetic force. It's what separates creators from consumers, dreamers from doubters, pioneers from passengers. Elon's surprise isn't a package, it's a challenge. Will you answer the call? Will you actually begin, while everyone else is too busy hesitating? Feel that hesitation inside you. Notice how it clenches your chest. Now take a breath, let it go. You don't need to have all the answers yet. Nobody does, not even the so-called geniuses. Every giant leap is just a collection of tiny moments where someone decided to push instead of stand still. Maybe you don't believe in miracles, maybe you think the world changes in big public explosions. But the real revolutions happen quietly, inside. In that silent pause, the space where you actually choose to believe, just for a second, that this could be the beginning. The next twist? This isn't about copying someone else's dream. It's not about Elon's millions, his memes, or his next glassbox launch. It's not about plugging into the latest trend. It's about the unexpected inside you, the wild, messy, impulsive side that wants more and is sick of waiting for someone's permission. Maybe that's the real surprise Musk has for you. Permission isn't coming, because you don't need it. When Elon first sent an email to Russian engineers looking for used rockets, he wasn't on magazine covers, and nobody cared what he had to say. They laughed at him. He laughed back and kept moving. Why? Because he didn't need an invitation. He just needed a signal. This is your signal now. Not someday. Not tomorrow. Now. If you're feeling that internal tremor, that deep what if, it means you're alive. Lean in, hear what your gut is really telling you. It's time to stop treating your life as a dress rehearsal. The universe is rolling tape, no more, coming soon. And remember, the surprise isn't a prize to be handed out. It's an experience, a shift in how you see what's possible. And it's only here for the ones who are awake enough to notice its presence. You're still here, aren't you? That means something. Unlike most, you stayed with the message. You let the noise fade and the possibility grow. That isn't normal. That's the first sign of transformation, sticking around when everyone else walks away before the good part starts. So let yourself feel proud for just a second. Right now you have a choice. You can step forward into the unknown, or you can let the message disappear into the void and return to screens that never return anything real. But I know something, if you're still with me, you don't want to go back. You're here for a reason, and this is that rare moment when everything changes if you let it. If you're enjoying this journey and want to support more surprises like this, consider joining as a member or leaving a super chat to help us build this community together. Let's stay with this moment, just a little longer, let it sink in that something unusual is happening, right now, between these words and your attention. Elon's surprise isn't about a pop-up or a shortcut or a secret code. It's about the one art form nobody can automate, being willing to notice when the universe nudges you. If you think that sounds mystical, good. Because all the great inventions, all the greatest lives, started with something that felt like magic at first. So, slow down, breathe in, pause for just a blink, and really ask yourself, what would it mean, right here, right now, if you gave yourself permission to open that metaphorical door Musk left ajar for you? Imagine the air behind it, crisp and electric with possibility. Not empty hope, but real possibility. Not something handed to you, but something you claim by your own decision to not look away. Most people, almost everyone, say they want change, but most of them never change at all. Why? Because they chase a perfect moment, a sign, proof, some guaranteed path. And while they're waiting for a cosmic green light, the opportunity quietly slips away. That's the real surprise. Opportunity never feels obvious until it's in the rearview mirror. The present never feels historic when you're living in it. The irony is, Elon Musk never waited for lightning to strike. He learned to build his own storm. You don't need to be a billionaire to learn from him. You just need persistence, a little audacity, and most importantly, attention. Attention creates meaning. Attention transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. Even now, these words only carry power because you're actually here, engaging, bringing your own doubts and hopes and background noise to the mix. Let's talk about what surprises really are. They're not random gifts, but unexpected consequences of paying attention when the rest of the world is running on autopilot. That's why the real story isn't the rockets or the headlines or the chaos online. The real story is about turning your what if into a why not. That leap, no matter how small, is what shifts your story, inch by inch, away from almost and closer to actually. Here's what most YouTube videos and success gurus miss: surprise is not some lottery ticket. It's what happens when you act just a smidge before you feel ready. The second you dare to try, even while your voice shakes, that's when you plant the flag in your own future, not just someone's highlight reel. Imagine Elon standing at his own crossroads, young, no fortune, barely a plan, but with a habit no algorithm can teach. He acted. He emailed, he called, he persisted. He annoyed plenty of people, yes, but he didn't wait for consensus. He looked for the energy in the world nobody else wanted to harness, and he captured it, risked everything, and failed a dozen times before a single rocket made it off the pad. Pause and let that sink in. The real surprise isn't Musk's success. It's the discipline of showing up, especially when the world says your dreams are too strange or too soon. Imagine what you might do with 10% of that courage. 1%. Even a single degree of change shifts a rocket's destination by hundreds of miles. So take a breath. This isn't some guilt trip. This is a call. Not the blaring kind, but the whisper that keeps you up at night. The sense that you're meant for more. That you know, in secret, your talents, ideas, or potential haven't had their true stage yet, and maybe you're tired of waiting for someone else to build one for you. What if Musk's real surprise is that nobody is ever qualified enough? They just begin, and figure out qualifications on the way up the ladder. Let yourself feel the contrast now. Think of the version of you that scrolls, waits, moves past, makes excuses. That's a life marked by almost. But the you that pauses, leans in, feels that pull? That's the beginning of something new. Every courageous pivot in history starts as a private decision to just do the thing, to risk being wrong, to risk being weird, to risk being the one who tries while everyone else waits for a guarantee. Can you see why opportunity disguises itself as risk? Why the scariest doors always open into the largest rooms? Elon Musk's real surprise is not some secret knowledge, it's his willingness to move first, to act before others believe, and to keep acting as if a breakthrough is inevitable. That's how the future gets built, by people who refuse to shut the door, even when the hallway is dark. Pause again, just let silence fill your mind for a second. This message, these words, this moment, are still real. Still alive. Still full of possibility, only because you're still here. Every minute longer is proof that something unusual is happening. You're not giving up. You're still reaching forward, still listening, still hoping for more. That's not common, it's extraordinary. If you feel a little fire inside now, if you sense even a trace of excitement fighting your doubts, then you're doing something most people can't. You're making space for surprise to enter. The next step, the only step, is to not let that energy fade before it becomes action. And if you believe in supporting this energy, you can always send a super chat or join as a member to help keep these rare moments alive for others who need it. Thank you for being the kind of person who stays present when it really matters. Every moment you linger here, that sense of waiting shifts, molecule by molecule, into something a little stronger, something like possibility, something like momentum. That's the first taste of transformation, a subtle but unstoppable tide you only notice when you finally look back and realize how far you've come. And that's the core of Elon Musk's surprise for you. It was never about sudden windfalls or blinding revelations. It's about the slow, steady alchemy that begins the moment you refuse to scroll, when you refuse to tune out your intuition. Pause, let the tension build, let it wrap around your attention, because this is where so many people blink and miss their shot. It's easy to believe the world's big moments happen in a flash. Instead, they almost always arrive disguised as these small, strange invitations, these moments where you can choose to either shut the window and return to the normal, or stay open long enough to see what comes through. Imagine yourself at the brink. You hesitate. 1,000 doubts parade through your mind. What will people say? What if I'm wrong? What if it's another dead end? Those doubts are loud, but underneath them, there's a quieter current, that sense that maybe, just maybe, you're meant to be someone who actually tries. Pause, feel the difference between the doubt and that tiny, growing current. That's the undercurrent most people ignore until it's too late. That's why most people never change. Their entire lives slip by in a river of familiar distractions and comfortable disappointments, while they wait for all the conditions to be right, for the stars to finally align. But the future is built by those who move, not those who wait. That's how Musk built a reputation for the impossible. He acted first, even when everyone else said it was crazy. Let yourself picture it. The world doubted him. Engineers laughed, investors fled, experts predicted disaster, but he held the line. When SpaceX rockets exploded, when Tesla was weeks from collapse, when every single reasonable advisor said, "Quit," he kept going. Why? Not because he was sure, but because he learned that progress only feels risky until it's hindsight. Afterward, it looks inevitable. That's the great paradox. The only way to build the future is to act like you belong in it, even before you see it clearly. So, the surprise in the message is this: it's not the world's job to push you forward. It's yours. Elon's story is proof that conditions will never be perfect, that confidence is usually invented halfway through the leap. Most people spend forever preparing, searching, getting ready for a big break. You already have yours. It's right here, hidden inside this moment, wrapped up in the willingness to see how much might change if you act instead of analyze. What if, right now, you picked just one thing, the smallest, most ridiculous dream or risk, and imagined what would happen if you stopped waiting to be ready? Pause, let that land. All the reasons to wait, the stories about failure, they're just that, stories. They're only real as long as you believe they are. Let yourself step into the shoes of a SpaceX engineer, watching a rocket count down to zero, knowing that years of effort, sleepless nights, private doubts, all of it rides on a single moment. Imagine how it feels to risk everything, to know there's no guarantee it'll work, but doing it anyway because the alternative, playing small, living safe, is its own kind of failure. Most people simply don't show up for those moments. They want the payoff, the applause, the highlight reel. But few are willing to keep showing up before the world is watching, before the results are certain, while everyone else is just a spectator. That's the secret ingredient Musk tapped into over and over, the willingness to be underestimated, to be doubted, and to let that doubt become rocket fuel instead of an anchor. Take another breath. You don't have to know the ending. You don't have to have all the answers yet. All you need is the will to stay in the game, to stay curious, to keep opening messages that most would ignore. That's the quiet heroism you don't see in movies. The patient, private choice to lean in, not walk out. That's what's rare. That's what the world pays attention to, eventually. So why does this message focus so much on presence? Because every real change starts by pausing the excuses, silencing the external noise, and trusting what's left over, the whisper you keep ignoring because it asks more of you than just comfort. Maybe that's the real surprise. You don't need a new system, or another guru, or even $1 million idea. You just need persistent curiosity, the refusal to let the message fade before you move. Right now, you're ahead of the pack. You've lasted long past the attention spans of most. It's not about being better than anyone else, it's about being honest with yourself. If you keep ignoring that pull toward possibility, one day you'll look back and wonder what could have happened if you had leaned in just a little bit more. Why not let this be the moment you stop wondering and start doing? What if someday became right now, not because you're ready, but because you decided it matters? And this is your chance to answer the call. Every historic leap starts with a single step no one else can see. Maybe this message is just the nudge you needed, nothing more, nothing less. Or maybe it's the domino that starts a cascade you'll remember for the rest of your life. If you feel what I'm saying, if you want more moments just like this, you can always support the channel with a super chat, or join as a member to help keep the spark alive. Your presence here already means more than you know. Stay with the feeling. Because right now, you're not just absorbing a message, you're stepping into a mindset most people only glimpse, then immediately rush past. The surprise Elon Musk has waiting isn't about any specific invention, or magic product, or overnight trick. It's about the rewiring that happens inside you when you finally accept that action comes before confidence, and that audacity matters so much more than your resume ever will. Let this sink in. In a crowded world obsessed with certainty and safety, the rarest currency is willingness. Willingness to look foolish. Willingness to try while others judge from the sidelines. Willingness to say yes while everyone else hides behind maybe someday. Pause with that thought, breathe with it. Most people never even get to test their edge, because they spend their whole lives asking for approval from those who never risked much themselves. Contrast that with Musk. Time and again, he's put himself in positions where failure was not just possible, but probable. Why? Because each risk taught him more than any trophy ever could. He's been ridiculed, counted out, doubted by those he admired, and still came back for more. That's the surprise baked into every underdog story. Endurance outlasts opinion. Persistence outperforms prediction. Think about the landscape right now, endless feeds, everyone performing for algorithms, everything optimized to keep you scrolling but not moving. The world is flooded with messages, but starved for meaning. It's so easy to mistake consumption for creation. But the Musk method, what's truly rare, is to create meaning out of noise, to flip the script, to build something when most people just repost or retreat. Creation starts with one rebellious thought: what if I tried this my way? Let's bring this down to earth. This isn't about launching rockets, or buying companies, or even making headlines. The deepest kind of surprise is realizing you have agency, actual, daily, minute-to-minute power over your own direction, your own impact, your own legacy. Agency isn't given. It's claimed. You claim it every single time you do the brave thing in spite of anxiety, doubt, naysayers, or even your own history. If you keep your mind open, you start to see all the tiny arenas where courage really counts: applying for that job you're not ready for, writing the first line of a story when you don't know the ending, having one honest conversation that could shift everything, risking a yes while most are still negotiating with their fears. That's the practical magic of the present moment. That's Musk's real blueprint. That's what nobody else can automate, and what no one can do for you. Think about how advocates for safety always warn about risk. But how often do they mention the cost of inaction? The cost of letting a good life wither into mediocrity, the quiet regret of always playing it safe? The world gives outsized rewards not to the perfect, but to the persistent, the stubborn, the ones who show up a little bit longer than anyone else. Pause, let your thoughts wander just for a moment. Imagine alternate versions of yourself, every single one shaped by the choices you make in moments just like this. One path leads to regret for not trying, the other leads to a wild sense of pride you can't buy with any currency. Stories like Elon's don't get told because they're easy. They get told because they're rare. Not because they manifested success, but because they fought through tedium, setbacks, boredom, emptiness, ridicule, again and again, until their story had to be told. They outlasted the world's cynicism. Sometimes, that's the real edge, lasting just a little longer than your fear. So, where does the story pivot? It pivots when you finally realize the only qualification you'll need is the willingness to keep moving forward. The people you look up to all started out as amateurs. They got comfortable with discomfort, learned to see awkwardness as a sign they were doing something worth caring about. They stopped waiting for clarity and acted from a place of constant curiosity. Every single day, doors appear and disappear around you. Sometimes you notice them, sometimes you don't. Most people only see them in hindsight. But the ones willing to lean in, to say, "Why not me?" even when it seems ridiculous, those are the people who wake up one morning and realize how much further they've come than they ever thought possible. Right now, if there's a surprise, it's not that someone like Musk is offering you a secret. It's that the real secret was always available to anyone willing to risk change. It's not about who's right, who's smartest, or who gets noticed first. It comes down to action, tiny, repeated, ridiculous action that everyone else is too embarrassed or distracted to take. Pause, reflect on this. Almost nobody will remember a perfectly safe legacy. But nearly everyone remembers the rebels, the builders, the weirdos who chased impossible dreams just long enough to make them real. This is your moment. Don't log off before you've let yourself answer. Stay with that urge to reach forward. Let it push you to do just one unusual thing today. If you want more of these reminders, if you want to see more surprises and unlock more doors, consider sending a super chat or joining as a member. Together, we make space for more people to choose guts over fear. Breathe in, let this last stretch matter as much as the first. The truth you've been circling is still right here, waiting. Elon Musk's surprise wasn't some gift only for the elite, or the chosen few, or those with connections or luck. His surprise was always this: no one is ever really ready before their moment comes, not the visionaries, not the creators, not even the giants who changed the world. They only look ready in hindsight. Because every breakthrough, every genius pivot, every legendary leap, begins not with certainty, but with a flicker of willingness to go one step further than you've gone before. You, yes, you, arrived here, stayed here, kept your focus while the rest of the world went chasing distractions, and that's not luck. That's not an accident. That's the muscle nobody sees getting built. The discipline to listen, the courage to still the noise and hear the message that most will describe as just another video, seconds before they click away. You didn't. You let it draw you deeper. Now, the choice is simpler and more powerful than you realize. Not, what will Musk do next? Not, what fortune or hack or clickbait gets revealed. But, what will you do next? Will you open the metaphorical message and answer the call waiting inside your own hesitation? That, here, right now, is the real surprise he would give you, if he could whisper in your ear. Not a map, but a mirror. Not a set of instructions, but a key to a door only you can turn. Let your mind return, just for a second, to that moment in your own life, the one that could have gone either way. Maybe you missed it, maybe you used it, maybe you don't even know it happened yet. Life's biggest invitations are most often missed not because they weren't special, but because they didn't look special until you stepped through them. The surprise, always, is the act of believing in something before there's visible proof, the ability to say to yourself, I don't know where this leads, but I'm moving anyway. Pause, feel your pulse. Is it a little higher? Good. That's how you know the moment's still alive. It means something inside you wants to open this message, not just as an idea but as a decision. If you're tired of waiting for a sign, I want you to hear something no viral headline or algorithm can say. The sign is the fact that you're still here, reading these very words. This attention isn't background noise, it's your own intuition finally coming to the surface, finally ready to act. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Musk didn't build rockets in a day. It began with that first, strange, stubborn thought, why not me? Who says I can't try? Who says normal is the only option? Your next step doesn't require millions, or even perfect confidence. It only requires the decision to refuse, almost, as your legacy. One daring thing. One awkward try. One honest risk. That's your launch pad, your countdown, your world-changing move, even if the world doesn't notice at first. Compare now, a version of you living on autopilot, one scroll after another, always hoping something exciting will happen that costs nothing and risks nothing. What's different now, in this exact second, is that you're awake enough to notice the fork in the road. The option to move, to speak, to create, to reach, is open right now. Why would you wait until the doors close before admitting you wanted to walk through it? Pause, let that last question echo. Most people never graduate from thoughtful spectator to uncomfortable beginner. Most people spend years collecting ideas, watching stories, following updates of the ones who dared. But the greatest secret, the richest surprise, is that the smallest acts of courage separate the dreamers from the doers, always. It's never the market, or the luck, or the algorithm. It's the pulse of willingness under your ribs. To risk being noticed, rejected, wrong, or misunderstood, that's the real rite of passage into your own potential. You feel that urge again now. Don't let it pass. Before this ends, pick one thing, tiny, private, or public, that's been calling for you, nagging quietly, building pressure each time you tell yourself, maybe next week. Decide now to answer that call before the door closes. You don't need a crowd. You don't need applause. You don't even need to know if it'll work. You just need to follow the instinct to open the message while the invitation is still visible. Imagine Musk standing alone after another failed test, picking up the phone for yet another wild pitch, knowing the world's already dismissed him. Imagine yourself taking that same kind of leap, in miniature, today. Risking your pride for your possibility, your comfort for your curiosity. That's the real formula, the one you won't find printed in a headline, but it's the one the world will remember about you even if you're the only one who ever knows you tried. Feel the finality as the seconds pass. The door doesn't stay open forever. Not because life is cruel, but because it's always moving. The invitation is alive right now, this message is warm and real, you are not here to rehearse forever. You are here to leap, however imperfectly, and let the universe meet you halfway with surprises you never could have rationalized. Open the message, and you'll see for yourself. If you want to build a world where more people risk, more people listen, more people open their own mysterious invitations, consider stamping this moment with a super chat or membership. Support the next surprise, the next message, the next risk-taker who needs a reminder, you are not alone. And maybe one day, you'll be the reason someone else opens their own door. Thank you for pressing play, for pausing at all the right times, for noticing the message most people never dare to see. You are ready, not someday, not almost. Right now. Go open the door.